We're here in the garage, and a weekend project that we're going to try to work on, and that is the Diecast Cars. We got almost all the barriers complete, and we got these Diecast Cars that we stripped, two of them in particular. Let's make sure that the shine of this light's kind of annoying, but this is a Mini Cooper van, and another Mini Cooper as well. And this is how it came after I stripped the paint off of this using this stuff called Citrus Strip, which is actually really easy to use. It's I was gonna say it's water-based. No, you still don't want to touch. You still don't want to get your hands all over it, but it's pretty thick like pudding. So you can apply it with a brush, let it sit, and it just starts doing its thing. It left the car kind of in this, almost like this primer finish, which I thought, this might actually not be that bad because it'll allow you to, the paint to stick to it, right? So I read online that some people recommended actually taking steel wool to it, or taking a Dremel with some kind of a polishing bit. So that's what I did. I put this end here that has I guess it's aluminum fibers or whatever, and we used that and got it looking shiny. I mean, almost like brand new. Like, I'm impressed. And there was like little bits of paint that were stuck in the door and stuff. I remember I was trying to get them off with an X-Acto knife and getting in there. That just takes too long. This is like super smooth. So we're going to finish doing this one, do the other Mini Cooper, and I thought, this is working so well that I wonder if I can't take the paint off of, we use the Land Rover because I have several of these, and just see if it can even touch that. The other thing I want to do this weekend is there's a couple of vehicles, this one in particular, that I would like to build them for Gaslands, but not really strip the paint off of them. In other words, this color that it's in is great. So, give it like a brown, take it apart, give it a brown wash, paint all the little detail things, and add the missiles and guns and armor and all that kind of stuff on there. Okay? You have one of these Dremel things. I got it a while ago, and, it's meant really to hang on something, and I haven't really used it much. I've got a shelf here that would work great on, but it's carrying like all the Christmas stuff, so I don't want to put like a ton of like extra space on it. But we're gonna do some different things. We're gonna try this stuff with these polishing bits. I got some new bits, some super heavy duty cutting metal bits, so we can take these things apart. I've been using ones that are supposedly for metal, but to be honest with you, they don't work that well. It's one of the most dangerous things, so maybe I'll get injured here live. Hopefully not. And hopefully I don't misplace the stuff that I have, because that's been happening all night. I had one more bit. Here it is. I need a chaperone today. And my area is pretty organized. I've seen some of you guys' hobby areas, and it's like, I'm not OCD, but I'd go into therapy if I worked in one of those places. So, all right, so we're going to get started on this. It's going to get a little loud, but as I like to say, everything is live and unedited. So we're going to put our safety mask. I don't know if this is going to kick anything off. And the first thing I'm going to do is, I enunciate pretty well, so you guys should be able to hear me. The first thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to see if I can skip a step by stripping this. Like, let's say I do another one, and I want to take this paint off this Land Rover. And the reason I'm using the Land Rover is, for some reason I have 3 of these. So, okay, it will take it off, but I don't know if I want to do the entire vehicle with that. But anyhow, yeah, we'll use the Citrus Strip board. Okay, so let's finish up this Mini Cooper. This is for my British team. Get a little bits of paint that are on here. See if I can tilt this a little bit more. You got to be careful with, it's actually these ends here where I broke this thing apart. It's sharp as shit. We need to do some of the interior in case it's visible. The nice thing about this pedal attachment is you can really do it like a crawl. And you know, if you're doing plastic or something like that, you know, you do something else like the minimum is like 1,000 revolutions per minute. That's high speed. That's way too high for this kind of stuff. I was trying to be really careful getting all this paint off, and when it dawned on me, this is going to be a lot easier to strip the. Okay, and then we've got a little bit here. And it's like super shiny. Yeah, so this doesn't even need to be that high speed. And this is the only Dremel that I have. My wife got me a off-brand one. She got it a garage sale. What is this? Worksmith. You know, and this has served me well, and I'm still going to use it. You know, one of the annoying things, probably the only annoying thing about this, is these jaws. You know, you can't just hold, you know, do a mandrel. You've got to like literally like glide it up and do it. So it's not a pain in the ass, but it takes longer than it should. Hey, what's up, folks? If you're just joining us, we're modifying some die-cast cars here. This is how it came stripped. And look how we got it all shiny. Now, we're going to paint over it, but, and you know, I don't know, maybe it's too shiny. You know, we're going to prime it anyways, but this is for Gaslands for my British team. Cruel Britannia. British themed team. But like this has some nice grill detail and everything. We're going to make this thing all shiny. We don't have to use the super revolution per minute on this thing. It's plenty fast. All right, here we go. Mask up. See if you can get to see the front here as it happens. I think this is just aluminum. A lot of these die-cast cars actually have really good detail on them already, which is pretty amazing that they just cost, you know, $1. I think they're up to $1.18 now. What's up, Marcus? Hey, we're still working on the same scale. It may not be World War II stuff, but... We did buy one vehicle that I found for my Japanese team, and I think it's a make-believe vehicle. I actually looked up what it is. It's a Hako or a Heiko Type D. So this is going to end up being a It even has a little notch here, almost like for a gun. Here in the hood. I think it's a make-believe type vehicle or whatever, but it's definitely Japanese influenced. Looked it up, it was some designer who designed it on there. I'm going to call that one Hayabusa. And I'm going to attempt to paint it in a natural finish. I might even do this natural finish, and we'll put green paint on it. We're going to paint it. We're going to paint it almost like if it was inspired by an Oscar, a Hayabusa. So we'll see how that works. Yeah, it doesn't have a plastic finish, so we'll probably do that. We'll see how this metal finish looks like on it. Good, like these cars, I have a bunch back in Virginia that are probably 30 years old. Yeah, the problem is, you know, you go to the store, and if you want to get something in particular that's like a fast car, you know, the cars that you and I can't afford or don't choose to afford because we'd rather live in a house. You know, the Porsches, BMWs, stuff like that. Those type of vehicles, you know, Ferraris, all that kind of stuff, those die-cast models fly. You know? The trucks and ambulances and stuff like that, those you can pick up, but like there's sets in the 2025, they make a 240, a Nissan 240, or actually technically probably be a Datsun 240. That's a perfect vehicle for the Japanese team, one of the vehicles for them. Haven't been able to find one. But, you know, you could go out and get it on eBay, you know, if you need to. But, you know, I don't want all fancy sports cars, but, you know, for the ones that are performance vehicles, they have to be performance vehicles for it to work. And I'm finally using my Dremel tool. I know I did a review on this. I got this a couple years ago and really haven't used it much. Of course, I didn't really have a Dremel tool at all, so it's not like this fancy one replaced an already Dremel tool. I'm like, I'm going to get one, so I might as well get this one that's you can control like a pen. But I got the gates almost all done. I actually got some night painting sessions back in, and I even painted in the mornings, a couple of them. I didn't film in the morning just because it takes a long time to set up, but, you know, I actually had a better, I know, I'm going to tell you this, and you're going to be like, no shit. I actually had a better week this week because I painted in the evenings and in the mornings. But it's just, I'm telling you, it's difficult to get motivated to do that. And I don't, you know, this is, I guess some of this is metal, but most of this is like leftover paint and stuff. But the palm trees are going right into this. I mean, this is going to be, you know, we're going to have a jungle race. I got lots of Jeeps and buggies and stuff like that. But one of the things I want to do this weekend is I'm going to strip one of these in particular this yellow one. I'm going to strip this, break it apart, and we're going to I think probably give it a flat coat, okay, because it's going to be too smooth. And then we're going to give it a brown wash. And then we're going to deal with it exactly like if we were dealing with like a tank and weather this and see if I can get away with, you know, because not every vehicle works, okay, but something like this has a reasonable paint job with some racing stripes. It's got Dodge written on there. There's a couple of sponsors and stuff on there. Those are things I wouldn't put on the car. If I repainted this, I'm not going to go and paint Dodge on it. Okay? You know, obviously we'll do the taillights and everything so it'll look good. But I want to see if I can use the core color of the car and leave it as is because it's nice with the striping and everything. You know, obviously we need to make it look weathered, but, you know, I actually got a wild hair up my ass and decided, hey, I wonder if I painted these in a Borderlands style, you know, like a comic book. And then I saw a couple of people had videos on doing that, and I actually didn't like the end result. So I squashed that. That's good because I don't want to have to start redoing everything in a different way. All right, we're about done with this little guy. We just need to get some on the inside. Probably could use to get one of these bits that's have the same material, but not spread out, not like a disc, but almost like more concentrated. Cool, I'll be watching. I didn't get to paint a lot this week, but I'll hopefully have a lot of time this weekend. You sending the girls away? Well, I got next weekend, not today, but next weekend is the convention in Orlando, which I'm not signed up to play anything cool. I'm actually signed up to play one naval game and then Hero Quest. We'll see if I regret doing that. I'm afraid of playing fantasy type games because a lot of people that play fantasy type games just don't seem to know how to have a good time. You know, they're too tender. You know, they didn't get bullied in school. So we'll see if we can bring some of the 1980s into their life. This gets too difficult to do. Do I have something that's smaller than this one? I have a brass one here. I don't know if that's going to be any better. Let's see. That's cool. I've never bought drill bits for this thing. I just used the ones it came with, and actually my Dremel one doesn't have any. These were all ones that came with like this Worksmith set. No. Okay. Well, I don't think I need to get into that. You know, if I paint that, it's not really going to be visible or anything. Okay, so this one's, let's work the grill a little bit more. But the game night we had the other day worked really well. I'm looking forward to filming some of this stuff. This is going to be the easiest thing for me to film in the near future. You know, and Mitch is just as knowledgeable about this game as I am now. He's played it just as many times as I have. We don't have Scott our crutch anymore, so we got to learn how to play the game on our own. And it wasn't difficult, but it's just been a while since we tried to figure out a set of rules on our own. Or at least it's new for me. What era is the naval game? It's in World War II. It's Don is putting on that naval action in 1940 where Scharnhorst and Gneisenau, during the invasion of Normandy, like took off down a gale and the Renown was chasing them down. It's with this set of rules. So, you know, just something different. All right. Now these two are done. Let's take this apart. I don't believe in collecting shit. If you're gonna buy stuff, use it. Let's take the mask off. We don't need it for this. I can hardly breathe in it. All right. Let's get the real drill bit. The real drill thing. Because the end of those drill bits are definitely made for a big device. And this also needs. I'm not really a fan of these things. I'm not really a fan of these. Although I think this one you can, there we go. Okay, I believe the drills that come with this yeah, these are supposed to be armor plated, like to cut through metal, because honestly it takes so long and it's It's the most dangerous thing I do, is taking these things apart. So I want to definitely do something that we're done quick, so that I don't have my fingers too close to it, kind of thing. And the packaging on this thing is, so we've got one to do the pilot hole. Man, I can't see where the... This is the one to do the pilot hole. This is a 1/16. Wish they just do away with all these small things in 16ths and stuff. Just do metric, man. Just do whole numbers. And then the other one that's 3/32. And these are a different color than anything else I've got. They're like blue and Stinger, what they're made by. They're like $4 a piece, so they're not cheap, but and hopefully they work more than once. All right, so this is just a standard drill. Which one can we unplug? We can unplug this one. I got more tools than I've ever had. Not that I'm a tool guy, but I got a toolbox now, and they're all organized. I know exactly where everything is. It's really empowering to go in there and grab exactly what you want. And then when you're done, you got to put everything back where you found it, or you'll be your own worst enemy. Now we will crank down on this, and we will be on tomorrow morning. Probably working on the gates, I suspect. Because the barriers are pretty much done. I need to put some weights on them so they don't fall forward. And this actually has a setting where you can go relatively slow. You can go relatively slow with this. All right. Let's make sure the camera is somewhere visible. I've had this thing forever. It has served me well. Now, one thing that surprised me is when I'm drilling these rivets, and this actually happened to me, there's so much friction on here, and it gets sent through the body of the car. It gets so hot I'm not able to hold it. And it sounds crazy, but I'm not a science guy, but it works something like that. Looks straight. Here goes everything. I did see it flexing a little bit. Oh, I guess I got to be careful not to fuck up the finish if I want to keep the finish. All right. Use your brain, Tony. I mean, it might be a lost cause. It might be like, yeah, just freaking do what you need to do. And let's get this away from it so we don't have that. We don't have a lathe accident. Somehow I caught a video of that one guy that had a lathe accident in Russia. That was catastrophic, to put it mildly. I don't mind putting my fingers back here. I don't know. It doesn't seem to be working. Doesn't seem to be going very deep. Oh, didn't I put it in the same one? Where's my chaperone? Here we go. Yep. I feel like this isn't budging. Well, let's go up a size and see if we didn't put enough of a dent in it. Yeah, this takes forever to do. I wish there was a way not to do this, but This will just keep me from buying too many of them anyways. Some people buy lottery tickets. I buy the Diecast Cars. And I actually have something to show for it. So you're done with Italy. You're working on Russia stuff now, or are you doing Northwest Europe? I'm going to dispense with this. It's like hard to see what I'm doing. You know, it ain't budging it. Yeah, I can already feel it's getting warm. That one's budging. That one's budging. All right, let's go back to the drill bits that we were using before. That are for metal. That's disappointing. I'll put that where airbrush stuff is. Do you use the tires that come with the cars? I haven't changed any out yet, so yes. They make aftermarket resin ones, but you know, you end up buying aftermarket ones and they cost more than the actual car. Uh-huh. Yeah, it's not. That's why I'm like, I gotta get a real drill bit for this stuff. And I got literally the heaviest duty one, and it ain't budging it. All right, well, this calls for a drink. You need to get back to terrain. I'm working on some U.S. infantry and AFVs. Could be Italy. They're mostly combat miniatures, so they have their sleeves rolled up. That's right. You said you were going to work on Americans. I really like those American. Well, I really like everybody's combat miniatures, but the American ones are particularly nice. Standard screwdriver here. Let's see if we can get close. The car is metal, but the undercarriage is plastic. Let's do this. Let's go up to a much larger size. We don't have to do it at high speed. I just haven't gotten in the rhythm of doing this. I've done a few. I've done, I don't know, probably 12 of these. And every time I do it, it's like a pain in the ass. Every time I do it, it's like a freaking pain in the ass. I believe this is the one we were using before. It's not any wider. Let's go get a roof. Let's go get a roof. Definitely not for steel. I think that was the one I was using. Let's give it a shot. See if we have some better luck with that. Yeah, they make it look so easy on the videos. Yeah, they're afraid of showing you that they're human. Yeah, now this one went through. This one went through. This gold motherfucker right here. Okay. Well, we're going to keep this one on here because this one's obviously doing the job. All right. And we still have releasing issues. Man, calls for another drink. I specifically picked a car, there was lots of them. So if I fuck it up somehow, I can replace it. We got some other cars that are a little bit more expensive. But why didn't you buy them for $1? Well, because the car I wanted wasn't for $1, so I had to get some fancy paint scheme that I didn't want it to have, which is still cheaper than ordering it on eBay and getting it shipped to me. Well, I see what happened. We went through here, but it's still attached to that. Yeah, we need to go to. Let's go get something. Let me go get the whole set. I don't remember which place I put it under. I know these aren't for metal, but I'm not going through the whole damn thing at this point. So if we use something like, even something bigger than that. It's mostly plastic. It's half of the plastic and half of the metal. Come on. Jeez, why aren't you coming out? How the hell is that stuck in there? Just like airbrushing. Don't make any fucking plans. When are you gonna get done? When will we get done? Don't make any fucking plans. Now, luckily, I can dial this down pretty low. But I really don't care if it breaks. Like, that's perfectly fine with me. Because we're just going to glue it back together. Alright, now pop open. I watch videos on people doing this, and it just make it seem like it's like a no-brainer. And every time I've done it, gee whiz, man. It's been a struggle every time I've done it. And you know, I'm pretty good at attention to detail on stuff, but... Alright, now we got this side in. Should be able to pry this. I've got a container here for all the parts of it. Come on. I don't care if you break like that. Okay. So here's the, oh, they're locked in place. Well, that'll work. Here is the body, which actually has pretty damn good detail, and it's already in black. Perfect. The windshield, which we may or may not put back in, and the actual body of the Dodge itself. Now, this stuff right here, this is sharp as shit. So I'm going to try and see if I can't smooth that a little bit, so when I run my finger against it, I'm not going to cut the end of my finger and bleed like a stuck pig. Okay. This doesn't need to come off. Somehow it's jammed in there. And we're going to fire up the airbrush and give this a flat coat on it, so that the brown wash can stick to this a little bit. There we go. All right, put that piece in. We don't care if the wheels roll on these things. As a matter of fact, we're going to glue them so they don't roll. We're not going to put them on bases, though. See if that's good enough for that. All right, that needs to be primed. And if this doesn't work, then we'll paint it like, you know, like normal. But it has some nice details on here. I know they're going to be reversed. You know, you got Dodge, you know, a little Hot Wheels logo, which doesn't really bother me. I could come in there and take that off if I needed to. But this color, I mean, it's even speed paint looking a little bit, you know. So we'll see. I kept the original color on the Mustang that I have, and I think it turned out pretty well. All right, let's take Hayabusa apart. It's funny, you go to the Gaslands group, and one thing that really surprises me, you guys will have these great builds. Like, here's my build. I haven't named it yet. I'm like, I name shit before I build it. You know? And I like brainstorming. Like, I got a red pickup truck. And I'm not working on the stuff that's going to be modified extensively, because we do have the parts on the way. They'll probably get here in about a week. We got lots of parts for these, like, you know, guns and shit like that. So, you know, this one, if it has anything, it's going to be, you know, minimal, visible. Let's take this off and do the other little bit. You know, but stuff like, you know, I was like brainstorming. I'm like, I want to have a red pickup truck, okay? And the driver's going to be called Redneck, right? Because one of my teams is going to be a bunch of, you know, bunch of redneck guys. You know, and they're going to have rebel flags and stuff on their things, and, you know, people are going to have to wear a pair. I'm not promoting the Confederacy, but that's exactly what rednecks would have. You know, right or wrong, that's what they would have. The symbol of hate. No, it's a symbol of what rednecks would have. You know, and I'm not promoting them. We're going to make fun of them. That's what the whole point is. Okay, let's use this. Let's use this small one and see if we get anywhere with it. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed to have bought this set. Luckily, I only bought two. I didn't buy the whole set. Let's just go slow because we really don't need to go to super high speed. Well, it's cutting into it. Maybe I was going too fast. It's just frustrating when you see like a video of something on YouTube and somebody's like makes, oh, it's so easy, and you have and they have no trouble with it, and then you go and do it, and you're not, you know. I mean, there's some stuff I really suck at. Doing this kind of creative shit isn't one of them. It's like, am I having this kind of trouble with it? It's like, I know some people are having trouble with it as well. Okay, I think that's what it is. We'll go a little slower. Let the drill do the work. Yeah, like if I was like going too fast. If I go too fast, it doesn't even cut it. Here, it's like gouging it more. You see a little pieces of metal coming out. It's a hell of a lot safer. I think that's what it was. It's going too fast for the drill bit. Yeah, see, it's taking the metal out. Didn't say anything about using WD-40. You don't need to start a fire. All right, let's go back to Old Trusty. And maybe this system will work. But anyways, for $1.18, all of these models, all of them have a lot of good detail. They've got interiors. You may not see them. You know, some interiors might even be painted chrome, but the actual like seats and everything, they're really well molded. Oh, look at that. We took the top of that. Is that the secret? Did we just hit the jackpot? No, we're on our way. We're on our way. Okay. There it is. Okay. That was infinitely easier than the last one. So I think I was just going too fast. Well, when I take the next one apart, if it goes, I'll do it the same as this one. And if it goes well, then I crack the code. A hell of a lot easier. Okay, here's the inside of Hayabusa. Yeah, look at this. You don't see this kind of stuff. Look, there's some nitrous tanks there. You have a seat with a steering wheel. I mean, these have. You got seat belts on the seat. They have really good detail. Really good detail. Okay. We'll strip her. And then this is King Kuda. This is another one that I wouldn't mind it staying the color that it is. All right. And not that that's really my objective, but you know, we film games. There's a lot more people that are interested in Gasland stuff than other stuff. So should have some people to watch, but it's a fun game. I just hadn't played it in like 7 years. And you know, I mean, we might find out that we're gonna do some things with house rules, but you know, we got to play the game as is before we decide that, hey, this would be a lot better if we did it a certain way. Because I plan on building cars, and then this is the car that you get, not, you know, everybody bring in their own car kind of thing, because I'm like the only one that's the painter. And I don't mind doing them, and they're all going to be themed, they're all going to have names that are a play on words and shit like that. So, okay. Yeah, these that have a little open engine like that, you know, I'm not going to take the chrome off of it because it's plastic, but you primer over that and it looks really good painted, you know, in a metal color, you know, with it washed in dark, with a dark wash. Right back. I had soda out here. Yeah, I hadn't played Gaslands in so long that my set of gates actually were broken. I didn't realize that. So I have to fix them. Pretty easy fix, but I hadn't really counted on that. And they'll need to be painted. Okay. Okay, make sure we're drilling it straight. Pilot hole. Yeah, if you go too fast, it doesn't cut it. Yeah, see here we're getting all the little bits of metal coming out. Yeah, I'm not expecting to like have a fail when I'm doing things that involve attention to detail. You know, if I'm shooting basketball hoops, that's one thing. But if I'm like, you know, painting something that, or gluing something that's really small, like I got the skill set for that. Well, I'll tell you what, it is a lot safer. I feel a lot more comfortable drilling at this speed. It'd be nice if you just do it with one drill, but just wish I didn't have to switch this from one to the other. You know, if I was doing like 12 cars, I could just drill them all with the pilot holes and do all the other ones, but that would get overwhelming. This one came out even easier. Okay, well, we got it down now. Yeah, this is... Hey, come have a seat in my chrome seats. Crazy. But no, I've not switched out the wheels. There's a lot of wheels that won't fit on other cars, so... And the windows. Of course, we got mesh for that. Yeah, this looks... You know, they got a little, what is that, bell? And let me get the super readers on. You know, I wouldn't... You know, if I remove that, it's not going to have these things on here. What do we got here? Maybe Valvoline, Goodyear's up here. DuPont, something like that. Let's take the bird off this thing. It's nice to use these tools that I have. I feel like I hadn't used this thing at all, and I've had it a couple years, probably 3 years. It's relatively expensive. It's a couple $100. All right, so we've got some alligator clips here. Let's go ahead and clear coat. Let's go ahead and clear coat this. Let's do airbrushing. Hey, now all of a sudden, airbrushing seems a lot easier than this other stuff. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm just kind of thinking outside the box, trying to rely on, okay, what works for me in the painting world. Because we want to give these guys a brown wash. Where's the other body? The Bumblebee. Super Bee or Super Hornet or whatever the hell it is. Pair of Mopar buggers. I got the longer hose for the airbrush, so now I'm able to keep it on the ground. So there's some less vibration up here. And we're going to have to start with cleaning this thing out, because I can already tell you it's stuckish. I normally don't leave it connected, but I did. Figure I'd blow it out and leave it connected. No. Now guess what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to clean this thing out. So we've only done that tens of times. I'm just going to say hundreds of times. Probably not hundreds of times. I've probably done it 30 times easily. All right, let's unscrew this. Let's back this needle out. That way we can rock this a little bit. Let's back the needle out a lot more. Now we can rock this. Push the needle out the front. The problem is not here, probably. It's probably inside of here. Can we save daylight through it? We can. Well, we'll give it a good clean of hand sanitizer and she'll be operational in no time. As soon as I can pick the needle up. All right, well that didn't work. That didn't work as planned. There we go. It takes just a little bit of something that's not supposed to be there to keep an airbrush from working properly. All right, this is completely smooth. There's the needle for it. Here is this thing. Let's get a little, let's use one of these. This would probably help. Splooge of that. You have an airbrush at home? I don't remember if you do. Probably can't fit one in your apartment. Probably have to get a permit to run an airbrush in an apartment in New York. Probably have to get a permit for each different kind of paint you want to use. Nope, no airbrush. How long you stuck in the city for? So I hear there's a fun guy coming who's going to be mayor, potentially mayor of New York. Oh man, I can't imagine living in a place that has that many people. I go to the big city of 150,000 now, and I can't stand it. You know, traffic and shit like that. She's in 10th grade, 3 more years. You might have front row tickets to a shit show. Okay, let's see if this will do it. We're going to clean the front of this too. But usually the problem is in this little nozzle. That's another little place there tends to be sometimes there's a problem. The thing is this the last thing I did was spray clear, and the problem with spraying clear is you can't look and see where there's paint. You just kind of have to clean everything, and it's not a problem. It's not like I'm using any paint that's permanently stuck on there. It's just kind of annoying because you have to stop what you're doing and do this, but I've done it so many times that it's like, you know, second nature. All right. Let's assume that this is okay, and it probably is. We're going to drop the, wow, I just noticed this. This is an old screwdriver. I think we've pried on some bastards. Wow. Can you say misshapen? All right, so let's push this all the way through. This is closed off, so let's open it. That piece loves to fall on the floor and roll into a corner. And if you don't tighten this down with a wrench, you're going to have a problem. That was one of the first problems I had all the time. I'm like, why am I getting bubbles? You have to have you have to have a good seat on everything. Okay, this feels good. We'll put this for protection. And the reason we put this for protection is if you drop this, and I know this from personal experience, if you drop this, it's either going to land, almost always, it's going to land on the tip. So this actually is the guard that protects the needle from getting bent. Or it'll land on the back like this and then jam the needle so far into the that other piece I just cleaned out that you can't get it out. And I had to replace both. That happened to me. All right, we're going to test this with the Jesus juice, as that guy called it. It's just homemade cleaner. Nothing coming out. That's the first good sign. And then stuff coming out. Okay. We're in business. Backblast a little bit. All right. I am not going to thin down. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm going to thin it down a little bit. We got Mr. Abbas's, the Abbasid Magic Mix. and Vallejo Premium Color Matte Varnish. We're going to let this dry overnight. And this may not work. I may be like, this, but I figured let's give it a shot. All right. The Magic Mix works better when you put it in by itself. And I'm going to attempt to do about 25% this and 75% this. That has retarder and thinner retarder. The main thing is the retarder. It keeps it from getting trip dry, and it works really well for that. Like, if you use this stuff, you don't get trip dry. The tip dry just doesn't happen. Okay, we got some thin spraying going on there. We still got these things on clips. All right, are we clipped good? We clipped on tight. That one is. And this one is as well. It's funny. I'm switching to airbrushing, and I feel like at home. And I didn't, a couple years ago. But this is like easy. It's taking these things apart. I don't know about that. I'm still new to this. Let's get this in a place where I can see where the spray is happening. I'm just going to give this a matte finish. Whoa, do not fall on the ground, please. Not really interested in dulling it as much as just giving it some grippage. And you can already tell that it took the shine right off of it. Well, I don't know if you guys can tell. You're getting a lot of kickback on the light. But it is totally dull. Okay. Do the same thing with whatever the hell this thing is. What is it? Cuda? Barracuda? King Cuda. All bow before King Cuda. Yeah, it's real shiny right now. Take care of that. So we'll do an unboxing when we get the parts in. I did a bit of searching on who to get the parts from because there's a lot of people that make the stuff now. And I wanted to use somebody that was domestic, and I wanted to use somebody who wasn't 3D printing these things with FDM, so that it looks, I want it to look resinish. I want it to look good, okay? And this one's totally dull. This is a good look. This is a damn good looking paint scheme. And it's already done. I mean, I could replicate it, but I mean, I'm saving myself a shitload of time doing that. We're still going to paint all the details and stuff on it. But all right, now because we already have the airbrush out, unfortunately, I have some flat on here left. I guess we'll just dump it. I'm going to go ahead and prime the inside of the other vehicles. Since I already have this here. I prefer to do one thing at a time, but if it's something that involves like cleanup and stuff like that, it's really inefficient to do it that way. All right, so we're going to use the good primer. And the good primer is the Ammo One Shot. All right, we're going to do the same thing. All our alligator clips are here. All living in harmony. No, we'll need the Magic Mix. We will need the Magic Mix. All right, so let's... I'm going to go ahead and prime even the black one. Obviously the chrome one. And the chrome bumper too. Don't care about the undercarriage. You hear that? Marcus, it flips over. You're going to see the undercarriage. Oh, my, I hope you can sleep at night. Enjoy the nightmares. Hey, I appreciate that you're into that. You know, we're all different. I can't stand going anywhere and seeing somebody that has a container. Say something like this, right? Say a container that they bought, and it could have been bought 30 years ago, and they still have the sticker on that tells you, you know, DuPont container, 3/4 ounces, and you know, like, take that shit off. Are you going to return it? That thing's running interference for your mind, man. Get rid of that shit. So we all have OCD things that drive us crazy. I'm going to go ahead and while I'm out here, you're still that way, you paint the other side. Okay. While we're out here, I'm going to show you how this stripper works, because we are going to strip Hayabusa. Okay? And it may look great in a natural finish. I may fucking hate how it looks and want to repaint it. But there's many of these cars available, and I probably should still have the brush I use, which is this one right here. And I have a cup that I use it well. Let me pour the contents of it out. It's just water. This is going to have to sit overnight. So we got it stripped. This is the only piece that goes in here. I've used gloves, but this stuff will melt the gloves. And it's funny because it actually doesn't smell bad, but it is toxic, and I don't know what the hell is in here. There's one thing in here that is really, really toxic. Contains benzyl alcohol, hydrocarbons, phosphoric acid. Do not mix with any other product. Avoid contact with eyes and prolonged contact with skin. Do not swallow. Okay, well, we're not going to have prolonged contact. We won't get it on our skin anyways. Let's, this is not very messy at all. You'll see. See if I can put this in a way that you guys can see what it is. Citrus strip. It's backwards. Sorry, there's nothing I can do about it. That's how the live video is on the phone. You don't want to use this on plastic. It'll eat the plastic. It doesn't eat it immediately. It's not like, you know, you're something out of a movie or something like that. I'm melting! No, it's nothing like that. It's just, you know, uncomfortable. So I'm going to take this like this. And I'm actually not going to pour it on. It's actually thick. It's like pudding. And it's supposed to have like a citrus-like smell. And we're just going to paint it on. Paint it on thick. And the white decal, it'll start working like in about half hour. It'll probably strip it. But, you know, obviously the longer you wait, the better it's going to work. But we want to get this, give it a nice covering on it. I skipped the model club the other day because I wanted to play some Gaslands to get that ball rolling, and I think I made the right decision. Okay, so we got one coating on here. This doesn't have any decals. I'd want it. I don't want this thing to be red. I didn't like the decals that are on it. If I did like the decals that are on it, I would have just left them on there. Let's give one more coat on it. This looks like a Fiero / RX-7. What was that car? Nissan. What was the little Nissan car we used to make? NSX? NSX? No, that's the Aguilar one. What's the little Nissan one that was like a little like a Fiero? Like a Nissan, like little Fiero thing. I don't know. from the late 80s. Okay, so we're going to let this percolate overnight. All right, now these guys are nice and flat. We're going to get the primer. We'll put a little bit of magic mix, very little, just to make sure we don't get tip dry with this, and it'll clog everything. Just a tiny little bit. And then, of course, we'll mix it. This stuff works a lot better than the Viejo one. A lot. Got lots of these little containers here. Well, if you don't keep the packaging, you're giving away. It's priceless. Yeah, whatever. We didn't buy shit to collect it and not do anything with it. Okay? Looks good. Everything's getting painted as chrome. What time is it anyways? 8 something? Let's see. 8:30. All right. We're probably going to break a couple of it open. Okay. And where was the other one that was black? Well, we've got this chrome parts. Well, daughter's on her way home. We need to start the cookie duty. Catch you tomorrow. All right, man. We'll see you tomorrow morning. And this thing, even though it's black, we're going to go ahead and prime it. And we're going to go ahead and grab the gates. Do that. I need to prime them tonight. So tomorrow morning we can paint some gates. Really nice detail on this thing. I mean, I'm impressed. And let's paint the inside of the Hayabusa while we're at it. I don't know how much of it will be showing. But, I mean, really some nice detail here. It's definitely Japanese. It's got it on the British side of the... It's got the steering column on the wrong side. Oh, we ran out. I don't know what color the interior is going to be. I'm a fan of cars with a black interior. It just looks better. That doesn't mean it's going to be, but like my personal car, I want a black interior in my car, or dark gray, or something like that. All right. Are we done with this stuff? Yeah, I guess we are. I'm going to need to assemble the gates before I come out and paint them. So I'm going to renege on what I was saying that we need to do the gates next. I do need to do the gates. I need to assemble them. You know, we got a whole weekend to paint, so we don't need to be in some massive hurry. But I'm probably going to let that flat coat dry overnight, and tomorrow morning we'll start the show giving them a brown wash. Really thin brown wash, nothing crazy. Just something to add some, what do people call it? Some modulation. A little bit of modulation going on there. And we'll be back on in the morning before 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time doing this kind of stuff. Let's run this through here and we'll leave this. We'll leave this like this. I appreciate you guys coming hanging out with me. That helps keep me on track. Don't forget to subscribe to your channel if you like anything like this. Maybe I'll do, if you don't like this, maybe I'll do something that you do like. I don't know. But it helps expose the exposure to other people that might have, some of this might help them. All right, folks, thanks for stopping by. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.